Hello and welcome to Talk FCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys, and welcome to the first preview of the new season. It is finally here. Competitive football returns tomorrow in the shape of the Spanish Super Cup. Winners, of course, of the league and usually the winners of the Copa del Rey go head to head in this sort of opening season curtain raiser. But in this case, it's actually the runners up of the Copa del Rey because we, being far too good for everybody else, have ended up with the hands on the La Liga trophy and the Copa del Rey. So we will be facing Sevilla in this first competitive game of the season. Here is the preview. Let's do this. And actually, this Spanish Super Cup in particular is quite different to the usual setup simply because as the World Cup went on, of course, it's pushed everything back slightly in the season. There's a bit of fixture congestion, and as a result of that, this match now, this Super Cup, has become a simple one-off final. Usually the Super Cup will be played over 2 legs, 2 games, and then you decide who the winner is, of course, in its usual format, but this will simply be a one-off game, and instead of being played at each of the club's home stadiums, the Spanish Federation have decided to bring this game to Morocco, and you will see the game tomorrow live from Tangier in what is a very interesting Super Cup indeed. Here are the times, guys, right around the world for you tomorrow. Kickoff coming to you live from Barcelona at 10 PM, so it is quite a late kickoff back in Spain. Here are the times, like I say, right around the world, courtesy of Barcelona. And to be honest, the Super Cup in Spain is usually treated very similarly, really, to the Community Shield in England, the way that's treated as just sort of a way to get yourself back in to competitive football. It's not really a highly competitive match. It's not really something you always strive to win. But I think this game, you want to win it. You want to win a trophy if it's available, if it's a competitive game. You want to go out there and win it. And I'm sure the players tomorrow will feel exactly the same way. It's not high on the list of priorities. It's not anything like that. But tomorrow will simply be a test of the players, what's to come in the season, and just getting ourselves really into shape for the season and looking at what Valverde's done, the players that he has at his disposal, and what we're going to be seeing from this team in terms of style, in terms of performance, and in terms of results in the upcoming campaign. And we'll be moving on to our pre-season preparations, how we've looked sort of as the summer has gone on, our squad taking its shape now, and also the team and score predictions later on in this preview. But first of all, let's just take a quick look at the head-to-head records between Barcelona and Sevilla. And in general, really, we have been very, very good against Sevilla in recent years. We do fancy our chances against them. We seem to set up really well in terms of our style. Our style works very, very well against Sevilla, who like to counter-attack. They try to use their pace. They try to have a lot of width about their team, and we do tend to play through them very, very well indeed. And that was highlighted in last season's Copa del Rey final. That tells you everything you need to know about Barcelona versus Sevilla in recent times. It was a demolition. It was one of our best performances of the season. The last game, of course, of Andres Iniesta in that final, his last final of Barcelona, he shone massively in that game, as did Lionel Messi, Suarez as well, Coutinho. It was a brilliant game, 5-0 win. And also, of course, Sevilla were on the receiving end of 2 defeats back in the Super Cup in 2016, which was the last time that we did win this trophy. Back then in 2016, over the 2 legs, it was a 5-0 defeat for Sevilla on aggregate, and we have been dominant against them in recent times. So in general, the Super Cup will certainly give us a competitive test. We'll see what we're all about. We'll see where the players are, because it's quite difficult right now for Valverde. He didn't have the majority of his squad right throughout pre-season. The World Cup has left a lot of players coming back to training late, not really having a lot of time to get themselves up to speed, ready for that first opening La Liga game. And the new La Liga season, of course, is just 1 week away now. We start at home against Alaves, and Valverde will have that game in mind. And in this game, we're going to try and put down a marker, try and get some confidence going, and try to get this team playing as well as we can, as early in the season as we can. And if we just take a quick look back to our pre-season, where, like I say, our progress was hampered in some ways by those players coming back late from the World Cup, we certainly did get to see a lot of Barcelona youngsters, a lot of potential out there, and certainly 2 players who've made their way now into the first team squad, and in particular into the squad for this game. We started off our pre-season against Tottenham. That was a 2-2 draw that we ended up winning on penalty kicks. We took the lead with 2 goals, only to be pegged back later on to 2-2. Then we took on Roma. That was a 4-2 defeat, which I have to say was not really warranted on our side. We played really well. We dominated the game. We had a lot of chances. We took the lead through Rafinha. Malcolm got his first goal, but then late goals against Roma, who were further along in their preparations, hurt us in that game. And then there was Barca against Milan, another young team, another young Barcelona side, which, to be honest, again, we dominated the ball. We dominated territorially as well. Milan not really in the game, but another late goal well a defeat there. And I think throughout pre-season it was really a general theme of good performances, you know, a good style, a good structure, but not really enough end product, not really good enough in the final third. Our clinical finishing was not there. And is it now in this Super Cup time to see one of those good displays, but also with all those finishing touches to really finish off teams, to put away your chances? And now with the higher quality that we have on display and the players with more experience, we might see a better result against Sevilla in their Super Cup. It'll also be very exciting, of course, to potentially see our new signings in competitive action tomorrow. Malcolm, Arthur and Arturo Vidal will all be travelling with the team to Morocco for the Super Cup match, and all of them, if needed, will be able to be selected by Ernesto Valverde after Coutinho gained his Portuguese citizenship, which means that he is no longer a non-EU player. All three of those can play, and hopefully they can all settle nice and quickly in competitive action for Barcelona. They can fit in with the style, they can really gel quickly, and we'll see the best of those players as quickly as possible. And if we now just take a look at the squad for tomorrow's game, which basically includes every possible Barcelona first team player, even those who can't play, you know, the likes of Denis Suarez, who's injured right now, also Carlos Alenia and Sergio Roberto as well, who is suspended. Every single member there is travelling with the team, which I think is a really good thing. It's the opening game of the season, it's a competitive fixture, you want the whole squad together. We've hardly had that over the course of pre-season, and it should be really good to take all those players simply for squad morale. And I'm also delighted to see Juan Miranda, the young left back, and also Ricky Puig included in this squad. Two players who really did light up pre-season in the way they played. They play with a lot of maturity, which is something we didn't see from every single young player on that tour, but certainly Puig and Miranda as well. They've deserved their chance, and I'm glad to see them in their squad, and hopefully now we can see some serious opportunities for these two in the season to come, because I think they deserve it. And I think we really need to see now somebody coming up from La Masia actually making it to the first team and staying there. That's really important. Good for the other youngsters as well to see that it can be done, and now hopefully these two can blaze a trail. And now on to my squad prediction and my starting lineup for tomorrow's game against Sevilla, what I think Ernesto Valverde will do for this game. And it is a very, very difficult one really to predict, because obviously I haven't seen him in training as extensively as Ernesto Valverde has, and I don't really know who's quite up to speed so far. You know, the likes of Titi Rakitic, they came back a bit later. Whether they're ready for this game, I don't really know. But I would actually start Cillessen in goal simply because he played most of pre-season, and I think also we need to give Cillessen as many games as we can that aren't the league, that aren't the Champions League. When he can play, we should give him a chance, because if he's going to stay here, we need to convince him that he is going to play a few games, not just the Copper, include him in the Super Cup, and you know that he has the quality to get by in this kind of game. I would go with Alba, of course, at left back, not quite ready for Miranda to start in a game like this, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it. He has the quality and the potential to do that, and Semedo for sure on this right hand side. Roberto suspended, Semedo is the only option and guaranteed to start in this game. At centre back, we may well see somebody like Clement Longley come in, somebody who played right throughout pre-season. I would certainly like to see that if Valverde wants to go down that route, but otherwise it will be Umtiti. It will be Gerard Piqué, who actually officially announced his retirement today from the Spanish national team. That was very interesting. He actually did the press conference before this game alongside Valverde. Into midfield, I really hope that we start with the three there and then the three up front. Try and go with 4-3-3 if you can start the game like that, in that sort of shape. I'd go with Busquets, of course, holding in midfield. Like I say, if Rakitic is ready, I would certainly start him, and Arthur alongside him. Arthur for me has to start this game. He looked brilliant in pre-season. He seems to have settled in so quickly, and even though he's young, even though he doesn't have a lot of experience in European football, why not start him? Because he looks so good, and I think he can definitely come into this team and make an impact. And then the front three, Messi, Suarez, and I would go Coutinho, simply because that was what started against Sevilla in the Copa del Rey final, and they were brilliant together. Coutinho really started to show his quality at the end of last season. Suarez coming back from a long sort of rest, that'll do him a lot of good. The same goes for Messi. I wouldn't be surprised to see Malcolm, wouldn't be surprised to see Ousmane Dembele, but again, with Dembele, I'm not really sure how far along he is in his preparations. Is he fully fit? Is he fully ready? That'll be interesting to see, and there are some rumours as well continually linking him away from the club. But like I said before, Dembele staying at Barca, and I hope we see him tomorrow. And even if Dembele doesn't start the game tomorrow, I would hope that he could be included. And one other thing to note actually in this game, if it does go to extra time, there will be allowed to be one additional substitute. Usually, of course, in the 90 minutes, only 3 subs are allowed. If this goes to extra time though, we will get one more, which means that we are very likely tomorrow to see some of our new signings. Whether Vidal be involved right now, again, he's just recovering from his knee injury. I'm not sure how far along he is, but what we will know after this game is where everybody is, what we're going going to do this season, and I am going to go with Barcelona 3, Sevilla 1 in this game. We have the quality to do it, we have the history against Sevilla, and I think the players are going to be ready for this kind of game to step up, start the season with a win, continue that positivity, and start exactly as we mean to go on. So leave your predictions for both the starting lineup and also your score predictions in the comments down below, guys. I will look forward to hearing from you today, and of course tomorrow I will have the match review once that game is over and the season will have begun, and we can't wait for it. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. I'll see you tomorrow, but until then, as always, Vasca El Barça.
Barça! Barça!